Hello and welcome to another episode of Garden to Table with Rose, and I am Rose. So I'm out here early in the morning on Sunday to do a garden tour of the front yard. I came out between rainstorms. It's good to do these early in the morning because there's not as much noise from people. They're not out and about yet, and the sun isn't glaring, which then makes it hard to see the plants. So I am going to just do the front. I've been working on it since the ground became workable. Slowly but surely it's getting in order for this season. So let me turn the camera around. Alright, here I am at the front of the house. I always tend to start here. There. And I have a small house. It's just a small ranch and a working class subdivision. One of the only houses that has any landscaping, because that's not a thing here. But anywho, this is the front. So let me go up to the porch area, and I think I will start there. I still have to put my first step, my Scott's Step program for the lawn. They just mailed me the first step. I have to put that down this week. Alright, let me start here. I did empty out these pots. They had some dead hydrangeas, some little starts that I bought that didn't survive. So I did empty those out. I started bringing out my yard decorations, my little comfy chair there. I haven't bought the fountain out yet because we're still expecting a couple of below freezing nights, and I don't want it to crack or anything. So I'm waiting until next Wednesday. We should be in the clear, but I think I'll wait on the fountain until probably May, maybe the beginning of May. But I'm going to bring out some more of the plants and things I need to get out this upcoming week. Here are my topiaries. I have transplanted them into bigger pots, which is these pots they will stay in. These are 22 inch or 24 inch. I'm not sure, but I got them from Home Depot. They're plastic. Most all my pots are plastic so that I can carry them, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to move them. And I usually take all of these topiaries and boxwoods, whatever's in pots, I usually take it back to the back to store where it's a little more protected. So anyway, I just got this blue tip juniper, I think it's called. It's a juniper, and I got it from Home Depot. I went out yesterday to actually get gardening soil and came back with this. It wasn't too bad of a price on it, and I don't have a blue juniper, which is what I have wanted because I want to make a topiary out of it. So I may do a video on that. I've never made a topiary, but I just watched a couple of YouTube videos and I'm going to try it. I love topiaries, and they're expensive to buy already done. It has a nice strong central stem. I don't know if you can see that. But that's the first thing you need. So my goal is to create maybe a 2-ball topiary with this, and we'll see how that goes. But I just got this yesterday, and I just set it down in this nice outdoor basket. And then these are going to be planted with annuals once it's warm enough. Our last frost date here in Zone 6A, Kalamazoo, Michigan, isn't until about May 7th. It's between May 1st and May 15th. I usually use May 1st. That's when I start putting everything out. I planted pansies under the topiaries. Pansies do well in cool weather. As you can see, the spireas are filling in. These I cut back to the ground. Almost, I cut them way down low, at least probably twice a season, 2 or 3 times. I cut them down at fall. I cut them down usually during the spring or summer because they start getting really tall. So, but they bounce back. They've been here since the house was built, so they were already here. So, and they have pink flowers, which I'm not crazy about them, but they're healthy and they keep coming back, so I leave them. Here's another one of my topiaries, the spiral, and I did trim all these up because obviously they start to grow out from whatever shape they're in, so you do have to clean them up every season. So I up potted this one and trimmed it up and put more pansies. Pansies were the only thing I had ready that could really go out in the cool weather. And I grew all these from seed, of course. So pansies are all I have out in terms of these flowers, annual flowers. And then my little bed up here with my carrots. I have a few sprouts. I am not good at growing carrots, and everybody says it's so easy, but they never seem to do well for me. Either they don't germinate. I don't know if the seed's moving all around, probably. And then when they do germinate, they don't get very big. So I've put them, and they take a long time for me. So I put them in this raised bed on my front porch because it is covered and protected, and it stays a little bit cooler because of that. And I figure them being a cool weather crop, and it takes so long for them to mature for me, that this might be a good place to just keep them, you know. So we'll see what happens with that. That onion is from last year. It just kind of volunteered there and grew back. And I'm going to keep it. I will harvest it. So that's what I got up here. And then let's go this. I'm going all in circles here. I didn't have a clear plan when I came out. Okay. Right here. I just dug this up yesterday. I expanded it basically. I added probably about 2 feet here to this edge, and the reason why I did that is because I wanted to start planting stuff here. But this is, there's a layer of mulch on top, but underneath that is all rocks. This house was landscaped in these rocks when I got it, and those things, I mean, the only way I could get those out, I would have to have a bucket loader or something to scoop them out because there's so many and they're compacted in there. There's also roots in there from, there was two other big ugly shrubs there that I cut down many years ago because I did not like them. And so the roots and the stumps are still down in there. So basically it's hard to plant anything in there. I did manage to get that hydrangea in there, but I wasn't really trying to remove all of these rocks and all of that. It was, you know, so I moved it out so that I can plant in the front. And these are baby gem boxwoods, which are a southern living plant. They're pretty. Look how vibrant they are and soft. So anyway, they're only supposed to get, I believe, about 4 feet tall and wide, 3 to 4 feet. So I figure they will grow up and fill in, and that will be a nice little backdrop or hedge or screen or whatever you want to call it. Now this hydrangea was hit multiple times by tree branches in these horrible storms we've had, and I thought it was going to be a goner. It was a bare root when I planted it, so it was just a little twig. As you can see, this whole side is missing because that's where the tree kept falling and it broke off one side. So like literally this hydrangea has one branch, but look at all the buds. I mean, man, talk about a tough plant. In addition to that, it's in this rocky, horrible soil here, and it's still thriving. This is a PG hydrangea tree, allegedly. I don't know how much of a tree it's going to turn into, but we'll see. And hopefully I can get some kind of way to get it to branch. Maybe with pruning I can get it to branch and have more than one limb coming off of it. My window boxes I've cleaned out. The only thing that is in here are the perennials. So this little juniper Parsoni. So it was a cheap little juniper that I got from probably Home Depot or somewhere like that. And that's been in there since I put the boxes up. There's one in the other box. These are sedum, which are coming back. I like sedum because they're drought tolerant, and any kind of window box dries out pretty quickly. So I don't always get to water it in time necessarily in the summer, because I mean it could dry out in a day. You literally have to come check them every day. So I put those in all of my window boxes to have something that maybe will survive the dry conditions. And there's just one in this one. I mainly bought the sedum to, I think, put in my window boxes on my shed, but I had some leftovers, so I put them up here. Okay, so that's what's going on. And then in this front row, excuse me for skipping around, I'm all over the place, it's early. In this front row, I planted a bunch of anemone and ranunculus corms in between these boxwoods. So all the way from there, all the way around till you get to those stepping stones are ranunculus and anemone corms. They're mixed colors. There's probably a couple of hundred between the two. And unfortunately, I just got them in the mail Friday. I would have liked to have pre-sprouted them indoors before planting them out because they take a long time to grow and they don't like hot weather. But the company sends stuff when they just think you should be planting it. So what I could do maybe is try ordering them in the fall and keeping them until late winter, early spring, so that I can pre-sprout them, but I didn't. I soaked them and then I just planted them out. If I get 50%, I'll be happy, but I think that'd be a nice accent, some color over here, some flowers. I do not plan to save them. They are not cold hardy to my zone, which is 6A. So you could dig them up and save them. That's too much work. Not digging these, they're tiny, and they're relatively inexpensive. Now, if it were a more expensive bulb like Dahlia or something, I would dig it up, but I'm not digging those up. I'll just buy some more. So we'll see how they do. My boxwoods, I also moved some of them to pots, different pots. I've up-potted them. And so these little ones, I put in big pots because I want them to stay in there, and they will get bigger. I mean, they're only like 2 years old. I did plant, I hope it's not going to rain. I did plant pansies all around them, and I got these wonderful ball trellis cage things. I've been looking for these for like 2 years. I just love the look of that. So I got 2 of those. I was able to find them online on Amazon. I couldn't find them at any of the garden stores, my nurseries. Yeah, they're hard to find. They're pretty big too. And they just stick down in here. And they're metal. Some kind of powder coated steel or something. I really like those. And once the ball grows and it's, filling the whole space, it will look, I think, beautiful. Over here, another one of my little evergreens that I had in a smaller pot. I've potted up. I don't have any flowers around that one yet because I don't have any flowers that can come outside yet. I'm still waiting on more pansies and violas. That's another one that's a ball kind of evergreen, shaped like a ball. I really like that. It's very soft. Let's see. Over here, this forsythia. I just planted this up here a couple weeks ago. I got it maybe, I don't know, in March, and I planted it in the backyard, and then I decided I didn't want it back there, so I bought it up here, and it's filled out. I mean, literally, I just transplanted this like 2 weeks ago, and already it's filled out with green. It has little yellow flowers, which I did not even know forsythia got flowers, but it's beautiful. I love it, and I wanted it here because it can take part shade, but it sprawls, as you can see. It's like crazy all over the place. So I needed it in a corner where it wouldn't be in my way. So it seems to like it here so far. Here's another hydrangea. This is another PG that is here in the shade. See how that one does? It has buds on it. And the reason why I wanted to do this today is because some of these things have flowers, particularly my peach tree, one of them. 2 of them, and I had to have you see those before the flowers go away. I mean, it's beautiful. It has never, I think it flowered last year, but just a couple of flowers because my trees are young. This is year 3, I believe, 3 or 4. But this year it has tons of flowers, so I wanted to show you that. Okay, tulips are coming up. I think over here I planted little pockets of white tulips, and tulips I will treat as annuals because they don't reliably come back here and look as good as they looked before. So I will pull all those out when they die back. My transplanted yarrow out here, it can tolerate some cool weather, so I have a bunch of yarrow. I don't know why. If you watch my other video, I planted a whole tray, like a whole tray of yarrow, which reseeds so easily that I have a feeling I'm going to be taking yarrow out in the future. But anyway, the sky pencil holly is there. I had this chartreuse green Aurelia, something like that. I think it's called Aurelia. And that may be it coming back over there, although that's a darker green color. I'm not sure. But I think that's it because I planted 3 in this area and I have seen no sign of them. The thing is, over here, things just kind of pop up that I maybe think are dead because the tops completely disappear. I mean, over the winter, and you see nothing there but dirt. And then all of a sudden you start to see these little buds peeping up. So you have to be very careful that you don't step on some of these little buds that are barely peeking up through the mulch. So yeah, so a lot of things are starting to come up that I was hoping wasn't lost, so I'm very happy. This is the red twig dogwood, which actually has some leaves on it. No buds or anything. I don't know if it flowers, but it has a few leaves. That, I think that's euphorbia, but it's one that is dark at the bottom and then it turns lighter green. At least when I bought it, it did. And so it turns kind of chartreusey at the top, and it's very pretty. So I got 2 of those. There's one there, and there's one here. And all this new growth is on it. This is old growth from last year, but look at that. Isn't that pretty? Okay, I know that is St. John's wort. That is a perennial, so that's been there a while. More of the tulips. And you can see the buds are just coloring up, so soon they will be in full glory. Over here is a sensational lavender, which I thought was dead, but it seems to be having some new growth. This, is this a hydrangea or something else? Variegated Weigela here. So that should be pretty. It flowers a lot from the picture. I've never grown these things. I just like the way they look. They fit my zone, so, and the color scheme, so I went with it. This is some kind of grass that I planted. I'm not sure which one though, but it seems to be growing back. More yarrow, more St. John's wort. I may have to get rid of some of that because that seems to like to spread rapidly. Coral bells. Oh, here's some of the tulips that are more open. Like I said, there are little pockets of white tulips that I put over here because I had a blend of all whites. These are daisies, like Shasta daisies. I don't know why I have one Shasta daisy thrown in here, but I do. I could not even begin to tell you what this is, but whatever it is, it really likes that spot. So we'll see what happens with that one. Wait a minute, do I even have a sign here? Ruby Slippers hydrangea is this one. So that's a hydrangea. There's barberries in here. That is a barberry, that's a barberry, and the other 2. They're 2 different colors though. I think one was like a bright chartreuse green last year, and the other one was more, I don't know if it was red, more red, I think. Not sure what that is. Probably some, I don't know if that's some kind of annual or what. This is a mini rose. I know that. More of the white tulips I showed you. Another one of these here. So I got 2 of these clumps. Oh, there's a rhyme to my reason. So there are several clumps of the Shasta daisies, which I think is what that is, because there's a clump there, I think. And then 2 clumps of this. I'm not sure what that is. I can't remember if it came up last year or what. Some things didn't even come up last year, but then all of a sudden they returned this year. There's a yucca over in there, which I hope comes back, because that was kind of cool. It's a big stalky plant. It's kind of tropical looking, but it's very tall. I think it got to be 4 or 5 feet tall. So I'm hoping that comes back. See, more tulips. Another hydrangea here. I don't know if that's another ruby slippers or what. Let's see. Moon rock. That one's moon rock. Another coral bells. Here's another hydrangea. I think this might be the pufferfish. I planted 2 pufferfish hydrangeas, which I think is that one and that one, I think. And barberries, hellebores are in the back, but as you can see, there are little ones coming up, which I don't know if those are reseeded or if I bought more and planted them. I can't really remember. There's another sky pencil Howley. More white tulips. And then I can't remember what this was called, but I did plant these little purple flowers. Oh, it's something very common. I had little corms or bulbs or something. So, and then Annabelle hydrangea here, which is leafed out nicely. More yarrow. I think this is crocosmia or something like that I had planted here last year. And the hummingbirds love that. There was a couple bunches of it. There's one there, one bunch there, and maybe one bunch over in there, it looks like. And then this is a mini rose. What else do I have here? More of the tulips. Now, I moved some things. I had some little inexpensive different boxwoods that were in here, but I moved them to give my feature trees more room as they get bigger. They don't need it now, but it was crowded in this space. So I moved a lot of the inexpensive shrubs to the backyard. I'm doing a hedge there of these shrubs that I'm moving. I moved the hollies out of there. There were 2 hollies. I moved those. But I have this Bosnian pine, which is beautiful. There's another mini rose. There's more yarrow, more tulips. Oh, those tulips are pretty. More tulips here. Uh-oh, it's starting to rain. A peony, which I thought was dead. Another peony, which I thought was dead. I left one little boxwood. I may have to move that one. This asparagus looking stuff is my baptisia that finally reappeared. Another mini rose, another mini rose. I had 3 clumps of this though. You see it? That's the baptisia. I had 3 clumps of that, but I don't know what happened to the 3rd one. This is my Kwanzan cherry tree, which you can see it has buds on it, so it's gonna bloom soon and it's gonna be pretty because I think those are pink flowers. This is the maple tree I just got and planted. So it's a cotton candy maple. So it's supposed to have variegated leaves on it, and that is the traditional red maple. It's a variety that should stay pretty short, 6 to 8 feet. And I put that right in the center. This is a moon rock hydrangea, which has which has budded up. It's budded up there, ready to go. Let's see, what else? This is the little summer wine 9-burt that I planted in the fall, and it seems to be coming back. I thought it was dead, but it's now growing. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Look at those flowers. This is a peach tree. I could not right now tell you which variety of peach. I'd have to go look it up. But this row is all peach trees. These 3 trees over here. But flowers. And this is my Rose of Sharon tree. It's all budded up as well. Hellebores, more hellebores. I love hellebores. They are so pretty. I would like to acquire some of the dark flowered ones. They have ones that are dark purple. These are all kind of pale whitish, and some of them are like a limey green. Okay, this is a Saturn peach because the sign is up high. But this is the one I wanted to show you. Look at that. Look at that. You cannot tell me that is not a beautiful sight, even if you don't like peaches. I mean, the flowers on this tree are amazing. Wow. So that is absolutely stunning. I want to show you that. More coral bells coming up here, and this is a poor little peach tree that has, like the hydrangea in front of the house, been hit multiple times by branches falling from this big old maple tree. So, but even though it's sheared off one side, so there's like only stuff growing on this side, and I'm, over time trying to get more stuff to kind of go that way and prune it as such. But what's left is still leafing out and still flowering. Look at that. So another resilient little tree. So, and then let's go over here. This is my row of apple and pear trees, or it might be all apples. But these always grow slower, especially here towards the back, because they were getting a lot of shade from the tree. But they are nonetheless still leafing out and trying to form buds. There's another one. I did some weeding. I have to come do more. The weeds grow really fast in the spring. Man, this apple is the one that I nursed back to health. The bark, I don't know, there was a big gorge in it about a year ago, and I don't know if it was an animal chewing on it or what, but I put comfrey leaves on it, like a compress, and wrapped it with some breathable tree wrap, and I left that on there for like a whole year, and I took it off and it was calloused over and filled in. I mean, it was like a big gash in it, so I thought I was going to lose it. I actually had planted a second, that's a Fuji apple. I planted a second one because I thought I was going to lose it, but I didn't, so I'm excited about that. This is a persimmon tree. Has some buds on it. Here's the other persimmon. Usually fruit trees, you have to buy them in twos because they have to cross-pollinate each other. So that's why you see me having multiples of everything. These two are apricots. One is called a necticot and one is called sugar pearls. I think they came from Gurney's, but they all are leafing out. Here I just planted these rose abelias, which are looking haggard from the cold, I think. Let's hope they bounce back. They're supposed to be good to my zone. But I don't know, the bottom foliage looks good that's coming up from the bottom. The tops look a little ragged. This one is a Chinese chestnut tree. I got 2 chestnut trees, which I intend to keep small. Those are ones that weren't supposed to grow too big, but I'm going to keep everything pruned. This is a hydrangea and oak leaf one. I planted 2 more clematis. I have 2 white ones, autumn something, growing up the backside, and I planted 2 white ones with different cultivars and different flowers up here in the front because I do want to fill the arbor in. Last year was the first year I planted these actually in the spring, and they got up to probably about here, yeah, in just one season. So I did cut them back because they were looking raggedy, so I did cut them back some, but hopefully they fill it up this year. That's another oak leaf hydrangea. This is the second chestnut tree here, which has buds. This is the second rose abelia. Rose abelia. And these 2 are almond trees, which are supposed to stay relatively small. I think it's called an all-in-one almond tree, but there are 2 of these, and they're all leafed out. Here is, I think this is a snowball viburnum. Yeah, snowball viburnum. And then this is a hydrangea. I'm not sure which one, but it's a hydrangea. Look at these tulips. Look at the tulips. You see all of that? They are all budding up, starting to color. There's hundreds of tulips here. It's a blend from Color Blends. I think it's called Beaujolais is the blend, I believe. Right here is another hydrangea, little quick fire. There's some hostas in here that are coming back. I thought the hostas were a goner. I should not have planted those here, actually. Those are ones that are like white. It's like a white type, but it's not white. It's a very, very light green. I should have planted those in the shade. I don't know why I put them here. I think it's because I had nothing here and I was trying to put something here. And then all of this I can't remember if this is a Stilby. Alright, let me try this again. I had to change batteries. Alright, so on this side, what I'm trying to do is put the taller things in the center, because this is kind of a two-sided bed, and then kind of taper down on each side from that. So I have these hydrangeas in the center that are oak leaves that should get pretty tall, and then I have flanking those a couple of smaller hydrangeas. There's 3 wee whites in the front, which stay pretty small and kind of in a little mound. This row I will always use for some kind of annual, most likely. This year is tulips. Next year I'll move the tulips to that side, because I read you shouldn't grow them in the same spot multiple years. So, and these are all treated as annuals for me, tulips. So they will all just come out once they're finished blooming. And then in this row I will plant annuals, maybe sunflowers here, something for my cutting garden. So my rose bushes are all doing well. I just added a salmon colored one because I had a gap over there, and then a yellow one because I love yellow flowers in general over there. And then my 2 fluffy arborvitae, which are a chartreusey green, are flanking the ends here. And then before I do the moon garden, let me come over here, because I am so pleased that this sedum came back that I thought was all a goner. This is like rocks with some poor soil under it, but it's a big layer of rocks, because this was landscaped in these rocks that I told you about that were everywhere, that I've covered with mulch as much as I can. So I needed something that would grow in poor conditions, and that I didn't have to water much, because this is a separate section of the yard. So the other things, I have actually drip lines for most of that, but I knew I wasn't going to be getting over here to water this every day. So I did plant 3 different kinds of sedum, I believe, and most of it died. But I got enough clumps that have come back that eventually this should be filled in. So I'm pretty pleased with that. There's a green one. There's a chartreusey one. So yeah, I'm ecstatic about that sedum. Alright, so back to this side. This is my moon garden here. Let me try to run through this quickly, because this video is probably taking forever. It's going to be super long. I have a lot of bulbs in here. I had tulips in here in years past, and some of them I missed in terms of I didn't pull them out, because at that time I was thinking of using them as perennials. So I do have some colored ones that are coming up in here that aren't supposed to be here, so those will get pulled out. The daffodils, the crocuses, snowdrops are in here, and they're various colors, and I'm okay with that because they're very early season, so they usually will die off before all my summer things come, and it's more white, right? So the idea is for it to be whites and greens, because it is a moon garden. The only thing that should really have color are my 3 apple trees, meaning the apples, if I get apples on them, because I have 3 apple trees in here. Alright, so these are Shasta daisies, which are white with a yellow center. I planted a bunch of new bulbs, and I'm not even sure what all I planted, but I see so many little sprouts. I got a lot of these pineapple looking things. I see some things coming up. This is a lilac primrose. I got Helen von Stein. I can't remember the other name for that. Something ears. I can't remember. Oh man. I got, these are my 3 little apple trees. They're columnar. So there are 2, I believe 2 red types and 1 green in this row. And I just planted these, I don't know if it was last spring or the spring before that, but this is the first time they've had leaves. So they're probably one of the newer trees that I have. And then, see, the crocuses finished, the daffodils, some of those are up, but they're kind of petering out. The snowdrops have petered out. But look at that. Is that not beautiful? Oh, love it. There's like a spreading rose there that has little white buds on it. More bulbs coming up everywhere. This one is an Invincible. Invincible hydrangea. Is that what it says? Invincible sublime hydrangea. Okay, that's there. Now see, like these are gonna have to come out of here because they're orange, but they're so pretty. Look at that. And those came back and they look good. So, but yeah, look, my apple tree even has a bud or two. So about to flower. More of these, and even some yellow daffodils in here. The daffodils are pretty. They're sweet. More growth on the apple trees. There's Ami, I believe, here. A lot of it is white. That's coming back. There's a couple of ferns in here. And a lot of other bulbs, like I said, that I planted this past fall. And I can't remember what all I planted. But here's a prime example of why I need to pull out some of these tulips after 1 year, because as you can see, I have all this leafy growth. Where is the stalk with the bud? It's way down there, which likely means it won't flower, or the flower will be very tiny. And so that's kind of why you use tulips as annuals. Okay, what else is in here? There are 2 9-barks that I just recently planted. There's a dark one that's supposed to get very dark, almost black, very dark purple. And then there's one that's supposed to get be chartreusey green. So there's those 2 here. And then there's a hydrangea there, which has little buds on it. So I think this video is long enough. And I think I've covered just about everything. I may put some annuals in here if there are some sparse spots, you know, as the season goes on. I did dig out my rosemaries. Oh, I got a couple of new plants, actually, just yesterday that I planted out. This candy tuft, it was just so pretty. I could not resist. How pretty is that? I couldn't afford more of them. I would have liked to have gotten 3, but I just got 1. So we'll see how that one does, and maybe I'll add some more next year. This is another one of those spreading roses. This is one of the little boxwoods I had that I just shaped up. I'm going to keep that into a ball, like a ball topiary. This spreading thyme is coming back. Actually, that kind of thing would be cute, nice, I think, between these stepping stones. Oh my goodness, that. Like a creeping thyme or some kind of ground cover. That would be nice. I may do that at some point. Not this season, but eventually. I don't think I have anything else going on over here. Just a bunch of stuff I can't really identify. Still be Bridalveil. Well, at least that sign. The problem is I put signs in, either they get moved by the elements or whatever if they're plastic. And then when I put the metal ones, even with a garden marker, a lot of times the ink washes off. So I'm just looking at a blank sign, so I don't know. And these garden beds are relatively new. All of this, I think I put in 2 years ago. Actually, this is probably the 2nd full season, yeah, because those rose bushes I put in 2022, actually, early in the year, and they bloomed that same year. I was so shocked that they grew so fast, but all of this stuff is relatively new, so not only do I not necessarily know what I planted where, but I don't even necessarily know what these things look like in their different phases of growth, because I'm a new gardener. I've vegetable garden, food garden, but I've never landscaped or flower gardened before last year. So I'm learning. And then, with time you learn your garden. That's what you have to do. You learn where things are planted in your garden and what's there. So that helps you in terms of before things start coming up, not stepping on things or digging things up accidentally. So yeah, so I got that. And then I got the blue point juniper. And then I got a butterfly bush, a yellow one right here, because that white one, as I told you, died. I pulled that out, but I got a yellow one right there, and I'm excited about that pop of yellow. As I said, I like yellow flowers. I got my little bird bath just sitting there. It has a solar little fountain spout just to keep the water moving. The birds like it. They're there all the time. And then, what else? I took out the rosemaries and I bought more rosemary. My era, for whatever reason, I had forgotten that rosemary is not cold hardy in my zone. And before, I had dug them up and taken them in and potted them up and had them like in the house in my little grow area all winter. And I was using it, so fresh rosemary. So I was taking them in and out, and for whatever reason, and I was taking cuttings and making more of them because I had several all in the front and in the back. But I forgot to do that. For whatever reason, I thought they were perennials here. Left them, they died, and they were beautiful. I mean, they were at least 2 feet. I love those things. Anyway, I went and bought more rosemaries, 4 of them to be exact. And so I'm waiting for this last series of frost to come before I plant them out, obviously. But I'm going to take cuttings from them. I probably will dig them up and take them in because I want them to get huge and bushy like the other ones were. So this year at least, I'll probably dig them up and take them in once it gets cold to make sure I have them. All right, and that is it. I still have some things to plant out here. I ordered, I didn't cover the inside of this. I'm not going to go over there, but the inside of these little fence sections, there is one. I think it's a hydrangea. It's not Little Lime Prime. Or Limelight Prime. It's Little Lime. Little Lime or Little Lime Prime. Something like that. It's the next shorter one under the Limelight Prime, which I have a series of in the backyard, So I have that there, but next to it, where I had the Bobo hydrangeas that died. I think they were either back here or in the front of the fence section. But anywho, next to those, I have ordered these beauty berry shrubs. I ordered 2 of them. And it produces berries that are this vibrant purple. I've never seen anything like it. I just happened to come across it in a catalog, and it's cold hardy to my zone. So I've ordered 2 of those, and I think that will be so pretty, especially for like cold weather interest. Because usually these shrubs with the berries, they keep the berries through a lot of the winter or cold season, so at least you have some color in your garden. So that's what I got. Now, people are coming out, they're yelling. It's time for me to go inside. All right, so that is the front yard tour for, where are we at? Mid-April. All right, and I'll be back. Bye-bye.